Welcome to episode 70. Today we are focusing on your questions. So let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fair Housing Insiders. I'm your host, Jonathan Sarr, and joining me today is Kathy Williams. Kathy, welcome again to the show. If you haven't done so already, we would love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also sign up for our newsletter, which you can find the link on our website. We are also on social channels such as Instagram and TikTok. You can find us with our handle at Fair Housing Institute. Today, we are answering your questions. Thank you, community. You're awesome. You're fantastic. You're on the front lines. You're in the field. You're out there. You know what's going on, and we love your questions. So thank you so much. You are facing these issues multiple times a day. So it's so helpful to our whole community when you submit these questions like we're going to discuss today. You have your finger on the pulse. That's why we love it, because it helps our community and it helps you as you navigate these challenging fair housing waters. So let's get into our questions. We're going to consider 3 today. First one is from Rebecca Snyder. Rebecca, thank you again. We appreciate so much your contributions to the community. So Kathy, here's Rebecca's question. What should a housing provider do if they receive a letter from a healthcare provider that discloses specifics about a resident's medical condition, diagnosis, treatment, or other personal information about that individual's medical history?
That is a great question. First of all, remember that you can never ask for medical records. So if what you are given looks like a medical record, you should return it to whoever gave it to you. For instance, it might have been the resident, it might have been a doctor's office who was responding to your request for verification. If it is, for instance, a doctor's letter that might have a diagnosis included in the letter, I think it's fine to keep it in your file. So you have to judge it based on how much individual and detailed information there is. If it's too much, return it and ask for only the information you need to make your decision on about the reasonable accommodation.
Very nice. Thank you, Kathy. So our next question is from another Kathy, Kathy Dickerson. Thank you, Kathy, for your question. So in episode 15, this is her comment. You made it clear that an ESA is not a pet. But in episode 32, and that was our episode where we had some ESA questions answered, you talked about tenants avoiding pet fees. Is it okay for a landlord to charge the non-refundable pet fee for each ESA, emotional support animal? Can I charge a higher fee if the animal is larger or of a breed that I normally don't allow? Thank you, Kathy Dickerson, for that question. What do you think, Kathy?
Hey, first of all, a shout out to someone with not only my identical name, but even spells it like I do. The answer is no. You cannot charge any type of fee for an ESA, regardless of the size, the breed, whatever the details are about that ESA. Absolutely no fees can be assigned. That's very different than your pet policy, where you can assign whatever fees your policy states. None of those apply to an ESA.
Very good. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that. And our final question for today's episode is from Sonia Gonzalez. Sonia, thank you for your contribution to our fair housing community. The scenario: resident requests a reasonable accommodation for a live-in aide and would like to know what the process is for this request, such as what the live-in aide needs to provide if the request is approved. So her question, must the housing provider have this information available at the time of the request for the resident?
Okay, I want to be careful I answer this because I'm not quite sure what your question is. You should have a policy that you follow and a process that you follow each time a resident requests a live-in aid. And that should include that the resident fills out some answers to questions about their need so that you can decide whether to grant the request, also verifying if their need is not obvious, that they are disabled, and that they do need a full-time live-in aide. And you can screen live-in aides for basic things such as criminal history, if you screen residents for it, maybe for past landlord, but only if there have been problems involving their situation where they lived in someone's rental unit for a while. You don't screen for credit and you don't screen for income because they're not going to be paying you money. So things that are reasonable to screen anybody that's going to live in your building, you can ask the resident and the purported live-in aide to provide that information.
Very good. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that. And thank you again, community. Thank you for those questions. So we are monitoring the questions. We thank you for putting them out there, and we look forward to hearing more from you. So keep it coming. Thank you for all that you do to contribute to the community. Thank you for everyone for tuning in to today's episode. So if you found this show of value, if you found the episode of value, please share it with your network. Remember, these are training tools for your team, some bonus fair housing content to help you have some additional content to talk about with your team. We appreciate your support, those thumbs up. Any questions, any feedback, feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, take care, everyone.